Hi, my name is Dagny, and I'm hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live.
You're going to play an awesome stage tonight. Every time I come here for a show, it's incredible. Have you played here before?
No, I've never played here before, but and I've never even been. You know what? I actually realized when I came into this room that I have been here before, but I've never played here. But everyone who has played here says that it's an amazing venue to play.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I haven't played yet. I don't have a band yet, but you know, one day maybe. I don't know, but
gotta start one. So
I need to start something. Yeah, that is true. But let's talk about the new single that is out now.
Yeah.
And tell me about this new track. Your fans have been waiting for new music for some time now. You've been kind of holding them down a little bit.
I kind of do that every time I release music. It's
yes.
like, okay, I release a song, maybe two, and then I'm like, okay, I'll see you in 6 months. But you know, I just want to make sure that the songs that I do put out feels right, and that, you know, I think that I'm probably obviously my biggest critique, and like my biggest critic, and also the biggest like. You know, I have to really feel like it's right in my gut to release it. So I don't really release anything that doesn't feel like that. But this one is slightly different from my previous releases. It's got a more melancholic sound and a more atmospheric sound. It's probably a bit more, it's got a more emotional vibe to it than maybe some of the other stuff.
Now I know your last track was like the first time that you wrote something so like lovey-dovey, something so romantic in a way. Yeah. So how different is it going from that track last time to this new one today? I'm sure that felt a lot better to write in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, Love You Like That was interesting because I never really used I Love You much in a song, and then suddenly I just go and like put it so many times in one song. But this one is, I think that my songs are always like personal, and I always try and make music that's honest, because I think that's the way that I can connect with it, and that's the way that my fans can connect with it. This one was written quite a long time ago though, but it was just one of those songs that when I wrote it, I just knew immediately that it felt different to me. And so yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of feedback we got on it.
So since it was written a while back, when you went into the studio to record it, did you rewrite any of it? Did it kind of change? Did it transform?
No, I find it really hard to rewrite songs, because when you write something, you're in the moment, and you're in the emotion often, and you're in this kind of vibe, maybe with the people that you write it with, and I find it weird to like go back and try and go into that place again. I don't know why. For me, that's never really worked out very well. It's happened a few times, but with this one, I kind of just.
It's not something you want to do.
No, it's like it represents a moment in time, and I just want to leave it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what was different this time around when you went into the studio? Like, you know, you've been recording for a few years now, so I'm sure every time you go into the studio, something is new, that you try something new, or there's a challenge that you are faced with. Like, what did you go through with this single?
I think on a general basis, I would say that like the more confident I become as a writer, and the more writing sessions I do, and like co-writing sessions, the more I find, again, like how important it is to try and be really honest, and you know, you go into a studio and maybe you write with someone you never met before, and to actually like be like, okay, this is a safe space. I'm just gonna tell you everything that's going on in my life, and be vulnerable, or be happy, or whatever the emotion is, and just really open up has been a massive difference, I think, in the more recent sessions that I've done, because and so therefore I think that I write music that, again, that I feel really represents me and says something about me. And I think when I first started doing co-writing sessions, I was more kind of just observing and listening and trying to learn, and not really necessarily always like doing what I wanted to do exactly, but I was just trying to grow as a writer. And now I feel like I can be more like, okay, well, this is what I feel like, and this is what I want to sing, and that melody is the melody that I like, so let's just do that. And for me, this song, like That Feeling When, is very much a Dagny song. Yeah.
So with this track, is it a one-off track like you've been doing, like one-off single? Is it part of a project that you're about to release that you're working on? Like where does this new single fit in?
It's part of. It's not coming entirely by itself. I'm not gonna leave them hanging for another. Like,
We don't have to wait. Nice.
No, this is one out of two that is coming quite quickly after each other.
Okay.
But and then the summer is coming, and then you kind of you go on tour and like do all that stuff, and then I will have to meet you again this autumn and tell you what's gonna happen then.
Okay, so we have plans for autumn. So with this single, did you work with a different producer? Is it the same producer that you've been working with?
You know what? I actually wrote this single with the same people I wrote A Fool's Gold with.
Okay.
DeLacy and Tom English is the producer. And then, a year and some months went by, and we tried to go like back and forth on it. And then actually it was one of my few free weekends this year. I just decided to go into studio with Richard Kraker, and who's been in my band for like years, and we kind of just did some changes in the production and added some, maybe a little hook there and a little this there, and finally I felt after all this time that it was like, okay, now it feels right. Now we have arrived. So it was a long process, but it was a really good one.
Now, as you keep releasing new music, like I'm sure you're evolving as an individual, as a songwriter as well. Now that this song is out, it's a new taste of Dagny. Where do you feel Dagny is today? Like who are you today?
Who am I as an artist?
As an artist.
I think I hope that still, like, even though you show different emotions and you dare to be more like melancholic and not always like maybe as happy as some of my previous songs, I do still feel like you can hear me in the music. And I think what really ties it together, I guess, my vocal, I guess. I still think that this is like pop. I mean, I like music that's like melodic, pop music from the 90s, and I still think that maybe you hear a bit of that in some of my music. Right. But yeah, it's still got an energy, and it's still got like, I'm not entirely sure what can I be honest? Like, I'm not entirely sure always how to pin myself down as a artist. I think for me, like, I always focus on like making the song the best that the song can be. And for me, it's all about the song every time. And sometimes it doesn't feel the same, like right to put this production that we've done earlier on this song. Right. And then I'm like, you know what, let the song be the song. And when we go out and play it, it all comes together in a show. So. Right. Yeah. And
you kind of mentioned, you touched on energy earlier, energetic. So you also had a track earlier this year with Seeb, a collaboration, and which is different sound from what we're expecting from you. What was that collaboration like going into the studio? Did you get to go into the studio with Seeb?
Yeah.
So what was that like in creating that track? Like, what was that chemistry like?
That was brilliant. It was really good. I have not really done much I haven't done features, and I've rarely feel like connected to music, like to songs that I haven't been part of writing. Yeah. But I heard this song, and a few days went by, and suddenly my sister was singing this song, and I was like, what is that? And she's like, it's that song, the Seeb song that we heard. And I was like, oh. And a few days went by again, and she was like singing it again. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, well, it's a Seeb song. And I was like, well, there's definitely something about the Seeb song. Yeah. So I decided to be like open-minded, go into studio. I obviously liked the song, but I didn't know if it was going to work with my voice and all these things. And so I went into studio with them in Oslo. And from like the moment we met, it was just such a great chemistry and such a great energy, and my vocal fit the track, and I felt really comfortable, and it was really fun track to sing. So I just kind of loved it more and more as we worked on it. Yeah. And by the end of the day, I was like, right, let's do this then, guys, because it just felt right. Yeah.
Now, did working on a track like that, did it in any way like influence the way that you write now? Maybe the way that you might consider new music, like, did it influence you at all?
I guess I'm always influenced by people that I work with, different producers, and open to like be, inspired in different ways and by different things. Right. I think we will have to see. Like, I'm going into do a lot of writing now towards the summer, and doing more production. And then maybe we'll see if there's something that suddenly there's a little Seeb hook, like put in there somewhere. Right. But a lot of the stuff that I'm releasing this year is already feeling quite finished and ready to go.
What? I mean, how do you know a song is finished? Is it
don't know
different every time?
Yeah, it's like at one point you just have to be like, okay, guys, like you never really finish. Yeah. There's always something that feels like it could change, or a few months went by and then you're like, wait, I wish that I'd done that instead of that. Right. But it's a gut feeling, and like gut feeling is something that I always take very seriously. Like whether it's in writing or the color for the merch or the whatever it is, I trust my gut as much as I can, and I think that's at one point you're just like, all right, this feels good now. Right. Let's just go with it. And then you have all these different states of like stages of like, oh my God, everyone's gonna hate it. Or like, oh yeah, no, this is good. Oh, I was gonna hate it. Oh no, it's good. So it changes all the time. Right. Yeah.
now I know you're a big fan of being on tour.
Yeah.
And last year you had a major tour with LANY. What did you learn from such a tour like LANY's, where it was just incredible venues, sold out shows the entire tour, and especially with them, like they're still kind of a fresh new artist. So everything that's happening right now, they're still kind of learning as they're going. So what do you feel you got out of that tour? What did you learn?
Oh, I learned a lot. I mean, their fans are dedicated to another like level. I mean, their fans are so committed to them, and love them so much. Yeah. And I feel like they were like, oh, LANY loves you, so we love you too. And so they were so open to us and took so good, like really opened their arm for us. And so I think, we definitely grew, I think, as performers. Mm-hmm. Like this was the longest tour that I've ever done, where you do shows, 4 or 5 shows in a row and 1 day off, and maybe 2, 3 shows in a row. And it's like constantly, so you really live the tour for 2 months. And so you become more confident. And for me, I learned probably how to like maybe communicate with the bigger audience, and just getting to meet the US and North American fans. I mean, they're so different from the Scandinavian fans, and much more like, they really communicate like how much they love you, and they tell you all these things, and they really treat you like you're like a rock star, which is crazy and surreal and really fun. And obviously I love Scandinavian fans and the US fans, no difference. But it was just a fun new experience, and getting to tour in a new country and see all the differences, and seeing LANY every night on stage. I think they're brilliant, and I think their live performance is so good. So just trying to like learn as much as I could. Yeah.
So now that you got to experience that, hopefully we can expect some more tours from you this year here in the States. Do you feel that you are ready for a headline tour here in the States, a North American headline tour?
I mean, technically this is a headline tour for us. Yeah. And it's interesting because obviously back in Norway we're doing quite big shows now. Right. And so getting to come back here and do more like club shows again, and like taking it kind of back to basic a little bit, it's been really great. Like you're up there every night, like, and talking to people because it's so close and so intimate. And so I think it's been really, really fun. And I hope that we get to come back and do many more tours here. I mean, I'm sure you can cross this country in all sorts of ways, like however many times you want. So I'm planning.
There's still a lot of places that you think you've been through, and then you realize, oh, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, and for us, the LANY tour was like, we did so many cities, and we did so many cities that I had never even heard of. Yeah. So it's like on this tour, obviously, we're only doing 8 shows, and so it's very like Chicago, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Vancouver, Toronto, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to go on a tour where we do all these cities we did on the LANY tour again, because I don't know. There were so many great places.
No, that's awesome. I look forward to that.
Yeah,
I look forward to
me
that.
too.
So now that the single's out now, for those fans that maybe haven't heard it yet, what is the single all about? Why should they go ahead and listen to?
Well, the single is, I guess it's like, originally we wrote it like inspired by that hashtag.
Okay.
That feeling when. And it's like that feeling when, I guess when you like allow yourself to fall in love again in a way, or allow yourself to let someone in. And for me, there's like, it's about love, and it's also a little bit about sorrow and previous things that happened. And I think it's just really letting yourself open up and feel something. And I think that's important to do that. And I try and always push myself to be better at that.